You're now watching Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network.
All right, Jimmy Ott along with Randy McKay as we get ready. Another winning week last week. Very, very nice. Don't forget those add-ons at Jimmy Ott 1045 or at RR39. We copy each other for the late editions on game day based on some live movements and also some late developments. So that's something he added on Miami and Carolina for extra winners on top of a winning week right here on Sports Bettor's Paradise. Randy, let's get to it right this week and the Dallas Cowboys. So certainly much better effort in Miami and back and forth, a couple of lead changes in the final minutes of the game. Now they get back home where they are tough against Detroit. And, boy, Detroit was in trouble, but Mullins just can't hold on to the ball. He throws for all kinds of yards, and also keep in mind Minnesota lost Hockenson and Addison, right at the same stretch early in the third quarter, which really made it kind of Jefferson or nobody for Mullins to target. So Detroit has won the division. A little celebration there. Maybe a little bit of hangover effect as they go into Dallas. Here, Randy, you looking at the Cowboys -6.
Yeah, and this is a rare favorite for me over 3. This is a situational spot where you got a Detroit team coming off the big win, clinched the division for the first time in 30 years. Who was the quarterback on that Detroit team? Eric Kramer. And who was the coach? Wayne Fontes.
Wayne Fontes, baby. Yes.
There you go. Some little old school knowledge there. So a rare spot for me. Sandwich game for the Lions. And then you look at the home road dichotomy for both these two teams. Detroit did get a big road win last week. They're better at home. Dallas, we've seen their struggles the last 2 weeks, us going against them. So they're very good at home, undefeated at home. And their point differential at home makes me lay this price here of 6, something I don't like to do. We could talk about diminishing returns. Of course, under 7, I don't think you have that. Over 10 in an NFL spread, I think you do. Case in point, yesterday, the New York Giants-Philadelphia game. That was 11-13, went up to 14. I could have released that for you guys and made you sweat that out with me on the plus 14. Probably should have. But diminishing returns as the spread goes up. But I think we get this one inside the number here just because Dallas really needs this game. Detroit, fat and happy, still has a poor defense that Dallas can expose here. Keep them on the field, keep Goff and company on the sideline. When Goff gets behind, he gets pressured, causes turnovers. I see Dallas winning by 10 or more.
All right, so Dallas up -6. Hey, don't forget, get extra value this football season with BetRivers Squares. You can win up to $10,000 in bonus money. Bet $10 in same-game parlays on any game with the Squares icon to earn a square. That's brought to you by our friends over at BetRivers. All right, Jacksonville got bruised up pretty good in Tampa Bay, and now they will go back home. Lawrence played. Maybe it wasn't just all him. That was a team loss. It wasn't like he was, because he was less than 100% is why Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay was exceptionally sharp, including Mayfield. Really, just a impressive performance by the Buccaneers. Buccaneers and the Rams in the NFC, kind of showing you a little bit. Carolina going to Jacksonville after they come from behind to backdoor it against the Green Bay Packers. Carolina catching 7 at Jacksonville.
Yeah, and a good question here, should have Lawrence been playing? We've seen during the game, he looks haggard out there. Probably should have sat that game. Now he's question mark again. We're getting +7 with Carolina. Might be CJ Beathard in there if nothing goes right for him during the week as far as getting better. We've seen this Jags team get exposed on defense the last few weeks. This is a little bit of a plug your nose play. Carolina's probably the worst team in the league, but we like those. Fear creates a little value, in the line here and getting a full +7 with a Bryce Young who's starting to play a little better, not turning the ball over, giving his receivers a chance. And I like this Carolina run game. Sanders and Chuba Hubbard doing very well, getting those extra yards, can control the clock here against a Jacksonville defense. Hasn't been very strong lately, giving up a lot of yards. Carolina can control the clock. We like that when we have an underdog, +7 or more. Can get in the number if we need to backdoor it like I did against a weak Green Bay defense. This could happen again. Bryce Young, very good at the no-huddle game, can get his team going. And we've seen improvement out of Bryce. He started off looking pretty rocky here, but I gotta take this Carolina team again, plus the 7 here against a banged-up Jacksonville team.
And you got a little extra juice when you say Chuba. You love saying Chuba, baby. So get that Chuba rolling, baby. It's just, Carolina. I tell you what, Bryce Young, man, he can throw. Yeah, he's not going to get any bigger for his durability. That's never escaping him, okay? But if he can get a little protection, if he can get a little separation, he can throw the ball, man. He was making a lot of throws on Sunday. Green Bay, man, that's as bad as it gets right now defensively. I get that. But, I mean, if they get a supporting cast, it's not an individual support. Before we pass a final judgment on Bryce Young, let's give him a chance with a little better supporting cast. Owner doesn't help a whole lot in that situation either. All right, Chicago and Atlanta, they made the switch permanently to Taylor Heineke. And maybe they told Heineke, hey, look, you have to try and stop doing what we emphasize with Desmond Ridder. Let's turn the ball over. That was the final draw with the interception late in the game at Carolina, which set them up for a game-winning field goal, and they lost that game. The Colts, they also got a couple of offensive linemen back, but the Colts, they just could never get back in the game when they did it. So a workman-like type of performance for Atlanta and for Heineke. He did protect the ball. Get this guy from Texas to be John the ball, man. I mean, my goodness. They started using all those first-round picks that they had with Pitts and Robinson. Now they're going to Chicago. This Chicago defense doing it week in and week out. This is toggling between 2.5 and 3. So they're laying more juice, 2.5 -25, less juice at -3. But you're fine with laying 3 in this spot with the Bears, Randy.
Yeah, and Atlanta's been popular in the market here, so that's maybe why it's doing that. I'm a little bit surprised here. This is a spot I always look for, these dome teams coming from warm weather situations, or even like Minnesota or Indianapolis, having to go to a place like Chicago in December with their nice winds and bad weather. We don't know the weather report yet, so I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it'll be nice, but who knows? But I do not like Taylor Heineke trying to throw the ball in these Chicago winds. He doesn't have a strong arm to start with. This Bears defense, ever since they got Montez Sweat, has been dominant. Not even good. They've been dominant in games and very improved under Eberflus's. It took him a while. He got rid of that Roquan Smith, who's a good player, but later in his career to Baltimore, it took him a while to adjust to that, get his guys in there. Now we're starting to see some benefit here, and they got a bright future. They'll probably keep Eberflus, maybe get rid of Fields, but that'll be determined in the off season. We'll see what happens there. Fields, playing for his long term. If he has to go, he has to put on some tape here. Played pretty well versus Arizona. I think he'll be the dominant quarterback here with his passing and his running. And we've seen the Bears run the ball a little better here. They got Herbert back, and we'll see if Foreman plays, and that other kid's been doing pretty well as well. Could eat up that, average. They'll even be worse outside the dome. This Atlanta's kind of a fast team, so they'll be worse outside the dome in Chicago here. So this average Atlanta defense could be at risk here. Will help us get over the number of 3 here. I could see this being a turnover game for Heineke and helping us get the win. So Chicago -3.
All right, Chicago -3. Trust me, I don't want anything to do with Chicago at this time of the year and that weather, okay? We're a little soft down here in the South when it comes to that weather in the winter. So absolutely love Chicago. One of my favorite places around in June, July, and August, okay? But, we did a show. We actually did a broadcast from Cubby Bear right across the main entrance from Wrigley Field. So love that place. Chicago -3 is less juice as well right now at BetRivers. Let's keep it going. Big Dog at RR39 at Jimmy Ott 1045 also as we do this, and we come up with some late editions right before kickoff on Sundays as well. For Randy McKay, I'm Jimmy Ott on the Sports Bettor's Paradise on the BetRivers Network.